you box a dude like Floyd, you have one focus.
Yep.
Right? I don't care if you fight anybody, you have one focus. Right? An athletic event is different. One focus, it's the person in front of you. Right? You're not so worried about fans. You're not so worried about the reaction. It's like I'm trying not to get tagged and get knocked out and embarrass myself in front of the world, right? Or whatever that is. Your focus is clean. Our job is to make them go crazy. Your focus is on their reaction.
I can't believe you're saying this. I just told this to my girl this morning. I'm trying to gauge how I feel going into this new venture. And even like he's been making fun of me. I've just been like quiet this trip and like super reserved, collecting my energy because I have never thought about this much stuff in my life for a performance.
Yeah.
Like I want to put on a good show. You know, it's not just about the physicality. I got to be an entertainer. And you told me that.
I said it to
at
you,
WrestleMania.
right? Because I feel like that's the gap that people have, right? Even our talent that have been doing this a long time. It's not the moves, right? It's not the. It's like watching a movie. How many movies have you seen with crazy budgets and special effects and CGI that visually you go like, holy shit, that's amazing, right? And no one cares.
Story sucks.
The movie bombs. Right. There's no story. No one really fully cares, right? Because it's not about the moves, what we do. It's about what you do in between. It's the characters and the story. That's why I was saying to you, like you know what you're doing, right? You've walked through this. You've done it. You're ready to go. You know the moves. You're an athlete. Dude, crazy good athlete that has picked this up like that. That's not easy to do. I've only seen that less than a handful of people be able to do what you've done.
Thank you.
Right? That's amazing, and you should be proud of that. But the truth is, the athleticism, all those other things, I can make a way longer list of terrible athletes that were incredibly over in this business than I can crazy athletes that were the be-all, end-all, right? People that are fanatics about what we do go like, oh, my God, that match was so good. Those guys are so good right now. Everybody else is like, you know.
Yeah.
Remember the two guys had a good match. I don't remember what their names were, but they were really good.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you want to be memorable, capture their emotions, right? My wife uses a quote from Maya Angelou all the time about people don't remember what you say. They don't remember what you do. They remember how you made them feel. Right? Yep. Our business is about feel. If you make them feel, it's the in-between things that make them feel. It's the wide world of sports. It's the thrill of victory. It's the agony of defeat. It's those movements where you can't believe that, oh my God, I hit this guy with everything I had. He just kicked out. It's that moment after that. And if guys slow down and let that story register, the level of when you're new at this or you haven't fully grasped that concept yet, you do something, it gets a massive reaction. And you're like, oh my God, that's cool, right? And now your adrenaline's up and your instinct is to go to the next thing and let's get them while they're hot and do this thing. Sit, wait, let them not know what's next and they will start to rumble, right? The anticipation of like getting to the edge of your seat. You need those moments where you look at your friend next to you as an audience member and go, holy shit, what's going to happen now? I've seen it. Oh my God, I don't know where they're going. This is crazy good, right? Yeah. Like you need those moments. That's where this becomes magic. The rest of it just becomes a movie that you go like, wow, that was a really cool movie. And then a day later, you've totally forgotten about it, as opposed to something that makes you watch it and then you talk about it for 5 days afterwards. Holy shit, can you believe that? I'm still thinking about that movie.
We were talking about this with Roman Reigns, and he he sits in the silence and he just lets it simmer and brew. Something I know nothing about, but he just everybody in the audience just sat there waiting, biting on what he was going to say next. And I wanted to ask you, how long did it take for you to go from getting out there, handling the core tenets, the physicality, the main parts of the performance, before you started to layer in those minute details that really drilled home to the viewers? Because that's when I'm waiting for like him to reach that point where he starts to own the core tenets of the performance and starts to layer in his real personality.
So it takes time and everybody's different. I think for me, I was lucky in my generation coming in, right? So I come in 95, I come into WWE and I've got Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, 1, 2, 3 Kid, who was like a measuring stick here in some manner, right? I'm working with Razor Ramon every night. I'm working with Diesel. I'm like all these people, all these guys that have incredible experience at being storytellers, not being, you know, just doing the movements and all that stuff, right? Like Scott Hall, one of my really close friends, you know, unfortunately passed, but like I learned, he's so underrated in this business. I learned so much from him, right? Because he would be the guy that like, you know, he just talked like Eeyore, but he would be like, afterwards, he would just say shit so simple like, why are you getting up so fast right there when we do that thing? Like, it makes no sense. Like, dude, lay there and just let them come, and they're going to rumble, you know? And the next night we'd get out there and he'd be like, don't move. Right? We'd lay there and all of a sudden, like, the people would be going apeshit. And I'd be like, oh my God, boom, light would go off, right? Stuff like that. I learned more from working with guys like the Bushwhackers, right? Yeah. Because like, I remember one time we were in, we went to Kuwait, like right after the war was over, and they brought us over there for like a 6-day run. It was actually great. We were in the same hotel every day, which half of which was missing from a bomb. But we were in this hotel, and every night we'd go work the same arena, but every night was different. So like one night I'd work with Razor, one night I'd work with Kid, one night I was working with Butch, you know. But, you know, those guys were older and they wanted to have fun and they wanted to make it different. And so you had to learn how to tell a story with them without making them take a bunch of bumps and without doing other things. And that period of time for me is when I learned that aspect of it, psychology and crowd control, not crowd controlling me, crowd controlling them. You know what I mean? And when you get there where you have that crowd, and even if you're thinking, I'm going to do this next, because that's what we've talked about doing, but you get to that moment and you go like, yeah, I know that's what we're supposed to do, but if we do this, they'll go double nuts. And you call an audible and you switch it and you do something else, right? And there's the moment where it just becomes alive because you're guiding them. They're giving you that feedback, but then you're taking that feedback and going in a totally different direction to go like, you think you know where we're going, watch this. And that's when this thing, like we used to always do that back in the day. That's the main line, right? Like when you get there and can do that, dude, and there's nothing that can ever happen in the ring then that's out of your control.